Welcome to Hustle and Flow with Heather Hubbard, episode number 92. Hi, I'm Heather Hubbard, and I was a litigator, partner, and practice group leader at an AmLaw 200 firm. I know what it takes to rise to the top. I also know all too well the toll it can take on your personal life. So how do you shine bright without burning out? How do you embrace your ambition without selling your soul? You're listening to the Hustle and Flow podcast. Welcome back. I am your host, Heather Hubbard. And as you are listening to this, hopefully I am doing a little bit of resting. So I'm recording this in advance, and I'm about to head to Phoenix for my Life and Law Live event. And I am so super excited to meet all of these wonderful women. And it was co-ed, but we didn't have any men sign up. We are planning for 2019, and I've had so much fun really prepping for what this workshop would look like. I've taught this in much smaller chunks for CLEs. I did a virtual planning session last year. It was 5 or 6 hours. And I also do workshops for law firms, but I've never been able to do it in like a 2-day live, really fun format with a bunch of people in the room with me that, don't really know each other. I mean, some do, and really work through this stuff. So it has been a lot of fun for me to prep. It has also caused a lot of anxiety. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. So I shared with you guys in episode number 87 what I'm dealing with right now related to melanoma cancer. And one, I thought I should give you guys an update, but I also shared in there that it's really causing me to look at things differently for 2019. I need to take better care of myself. It's definitely provided a lot of perspective for me. And so I got to get even more focused. I got to pull back. So when I was working through everything for the live event, I made sure that I followed all of the steps, that I followed the process myself for where I am right now to make sure that it still works. I am definitely a firm believer that you actually practice what you preach. So as I was going through it, I struggled a lot more this year, and it was such a good experience for me because I know when I have clients that are struggling to make decisions, it allows me to come from I can empathize better, and it allows me to kind of work through the system better so that I can get them even better results when they're really confused or have a lot of transition going on in their life. But it has also caused me anxiety going through that. So let me give you, though, a quick update. I had surgery on Monday, October 22nd. They cut a big chunk out of my arm and sewed it back together. So I am 2 weeks out, basically, from the surgery, and it still hurts like, you know what. And so part of that, I think people have had a lot of confusion around what kind of surgery it would look like. For a lot of people that have either had skin cancer or know of others with skin cancer, they do what I have learned is called Mohs, which is where they take a little bit off and they keep checking the margins. With melanoma, or at least the way my doctors look at it, because it can be more dangerous and more serious, they don't take that conservative approach. They go in and take out quite a bit. So what that means is, and there was no skin grafting or anything. So what that means is all of the skin that is missing, they've just basically pulled it together. So my arm is very, very tight. And, I assumed I would be right back to work in like a few days. And I had to cancel a law firm workshop, which I had never done before and absolutely killed me. I had to reschedule clients because I was on pain meds and a lot of pain. And I'm still dealing with that. I'm just doing Tylenol now. And I can't fully raise my arm or, hold things that are heavy because I've got this big incision. The sutures are out, but the great news is the margins did come back clear, which is great news because that means I don't have to go back in and do more surgery, which would be more time out. And it means that I don't have to do any other kind of treatments. So that is super great news. We are now just going to go to every 3 months of, checking on things. And we're looking at, do we need to even be doing PET scans? Because I was sharing this with someone else. They didn't know this. Melanoma then moves from skin to organs, which you can't just see from a skin check. But we are on it. We are being super aggressive in making sure that we catch anything early. But I know I had shared with you that that's when I was doing my surgery. I would get the pathology back, but I haven't shared with everyone. I finally put it on social media, but just to keep you guys in the loop, it came back clear. So that is great news for me, but the perspective is still the same. And, this pain and this big incision is in what's going to be a scar is definitely, I think, going to be a reminder for me to keep that perspective in check and to make sure that I'm taking care of myself, that I am not just falling into my workaholic traps. So that leads me back to what we're really talking about today, which is what's the future for All Rise? What's the future for Heather Hubbard? Where are we going? What are we doing? How am I pulling back? How am I focusing even more? And how that might be helpful for you as you plan for 2019 as well. So I'm calling this episode Freedom to Shape Your Future because that's really what it is, which is both a blessing and a curse. The blessing is that we are never stuck. Never, ever, ever are we stuck. We can choose to stay stuck, but we have the ability to change anything. We may not be able to change the circumstances, but we can change our reaction and our response to it. So that's awesome that we can make decisions, even hard decisions, to change what we're doing in our lives to make it better. The curse is that we have to make these decisions. Or we don't have to, but if we don't, we'll stay stuck. But when you say, I know something isn't working in my life and I know something has to change, freedom to make decisions can be a major burden, and it can be really scary, and it can be really frustrating because for many of us, we're not spring chickens, which means we kind of thought we already had this figured out. And we're really worried that if we make a wrong decision, we're going to royally screw everything up forever, right? We're just too late in the game to be making silly mistakes. And because we want to know that everything's going to work out, because we want to know that it's going to be the best decision, the perfect decision, it creates a lot of angst and anxiety about letting things go and moving in a different direction. So that's the blessing and the curse. You do have freedom to shape your future. And I think that you need to own that freedom so that you come from an empowering place. But just know that it might be a little bit ugly as you go through the process. It certainly was for me. And, I didn't have to make this decision immediately, but I also did not want to go through the process of teaching people how to plan for 2019 without me already having done it first. So I made my vision board already. I went through the process. When I would get stuck in the process, I reworked tools to figure out how to make it work for me. And by the way, I've made decisions. I'm going to share them with you. And I'm still stressed out about it, right? Just making a decision doesn't necessarily mean that you feel better initially. It's still scary. It is really, really scary to make these hard decisions. And I can't say that, now that I've made it, I'm like, oh yes, this is awesome. This is perfect. No regrets. We're going all in. I am going all in and I can't wait to see what happens, but I am a human. And so I'm still processing the emotions and, all of the mental gymnastics around what if I made the wrong decision? But, and I hope you hear this, if you have been stuck and you've been, trying to make a decision for a long time, making a decision will help move you through it. You're still going to experience it, but you will move through it. If you refuse to make a decision and you just stay stuck, you too are going to still have that stress and the mental gymnastics, but you will not move through it. You just won't. You have to make a decision. I was driving down my road this week. You may have seen this. I put it in my Instagram stories. They had both Halloween decorations out as well as Christmas decorations. So there were witches and pumpkins and spiders and Christmas wreaths and Christmas lights. And I was like, that is a confused house. That is a very confused house. And it totally reminded me of what I was going through, and a lot of my clients were like, and I want the Halloween and I want the Christmas and I refuse to make a decision. And other people are looking going, okay, you keep all of that going, but you look very, very confused. So here is what I have come up with, and here is what I'm going to be focusing on in 2019 and what I'm letting go of either temporarily or permanently. We'll see. Here goes. All right. So the future I want is less stress. Who doesn't want less stress? It's been 4 years now in my business, and it has changed and evolved in many different ways. And the stress is always there, but it changes. And I built my business with 4 pillars in mind. So I think it was probably it was August of 2016 when things really started shifting. And then it was May of 2017 when I was really doubling down on that vision from earlier in 2016. And that was really to create 4 pillars of the business. And one is, and it all relates to what I've always been talking about, which is the 7 steps that's in the blueprint. If you don't have the Life and Law blueprint, it's free. Go get a copy on the website, heatherjoyhubbard.com. But the first pillar is all about clarity. It's making sure that you are in a job, in a career that you absolutely love. And that's why I developed Legal Career Clarity. The other is balance, well-being, and happiness. And mostly what I offer around that are the Life and Law in Balance retreats, although a large part is also dedicated to clarity and strategy, which I'm getting to next. But that's a second pillar. The third pillar is goals, planning, time management. So once you know what you want, right, how do you actually go get it? And that's really what that pillar is all about. And this is really, I've been dealing with all of these pillars the whole time. They've just looked a little bit different, even since the inception in 2014. But this one is really about the planner and the planning system. It was the original Goals Reimagined. It's how do you help people get stuff done, but focus on the stuff that matters most. So that's really what that pillar is all about. And then the fourth pillar is strategy. So for people that, they know what they want, they now have a system to go get it. They're also taking care of themselves. They're happy. They're balanced. What's the strategy? What are the really good strategic tools? What's the really strategic high level advice that is not just them doing the work, right, with the projects and the tasks, but knowing what to do, what projects, what goals, what's actually going to help me move the needle forward. And that is really my masterminds. That's really the business development piece. That's the individual coaching. And so those are the 4 pillars. And that's worked for me because it's kind of what Hustle and Flow is all about, right? I cover a lot. My niche is lawyers, but I don't really have a niche within a niche, right? I don't just do one thing. And a lot of consultants that work with lawyers, they have their one thing. So it might just be executive coaching. It might just be business development. It might just be time management. It might just be wellness. And so having so many different things covered, it definitely can look scattered, although it is intentional. And it has worked. And I knew it would take longer for me to actually grow my business because I was focusing on so many different pillars. And I was okay with that. Again, it was an intentional decision. What I did not foresee is that when all of those reached a certain point, the bandwidth was going to be I'm just stretched so thin. And to really scale each of those, I need a much bigger team. And the only way to really do that is to pour a lot of money into the company, which I, could do personally, or I can get outside investors. And I've really struggled with all of that. But the truth is, all of that's creating an enormous amount of stress. I am working ridiculous hours. I'm constantly stressed about all the different moving pieces of all the different moving pillars. And it's distracting me. Even though I only focus on one thing, a month or a quarter, and then I'm doing maintenance the other time, again, it's now grown to the point where I can only maintain. That's all I can do. And I'm not okay with that. I mean, it would be I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but that's personally not my vision. I don't just want to maintain where I am. So I know there are only 2 options. I can get outside investors and I can really grow it through cash infusion to build up these teams, to have other people running each pillar for me, or I can basically either say goodbye to some pillars temporarily or permanently so that I can just focus on really doubling down and scaling one or two pillars. And that's where the angst came from, because that's the process I was going through. I knew that the second one was the one I wanted to do. That decision was fairly easy. It didn't take a ton of thinking or analyzing to decide that I wanted to take that route over having investors. So having chosen the second route, I then had to decide, what am I letting go of and where am I doubling down? And ultimately, I think I would call it 1.5 pillars. And the reason I say that is because we were going to do 2 pillars, but we decided that was too much, and we're not fully getting rid of one, but we are definitely pulling it back. So that's why I'm saying it's 1.5. That process was just gut-wrenching because I've put a lot of time, sweat, energy, money into each of these pillars. And I'm doing exactly what my clients do. And it's helpful to go through the process. Like I said, we do these things in our mind. We say things like, well, then that was a waste, right? Like if I say no now, that was a complete waste. I wasted all of that time, money, and energy. Or what if that's the one that's really going to help people the most? Or what if that's the one that will, really make things better? And then there's well, if I cut all of these things out, and I'm just focusing on one, what if it doesn't work out and my business goes backwards? Or what if I just focus on the one, it doesn't do as well as I think, and then I'm not making enough money or as much money, right? I've got people to pay. These are the things that go through our minds when we start cutting things out. So you may be thinking, maybe it's changing careers. Maybe it's, I want to focus on a different kind of client, but I don't know how to say no to the current clients I have because I'm worried, how am I going to pay the bills? Yeah, I get it. That's what I've been going through. So what I ultimately decided was what I enjoy the most and what gets people the best results, and which tends to resonate and already is a larger share of my revenue, is the masterminds. So what we're going to do, and by the way, I said that as if it was like super easy, and that clearly made sense. Like I said, there was a ton of work that went behind even making that decision. But so Legal Career Clarity, it's going to continue to be available, but it's probably not even going to be on the website. We'll probably continue to leave the free video series up, maybe on like a sidebar on the podcast page. And so if people stumble into it, they can. We're going to leave it up. It'll be available. So if you're already in it, you're not going to lose access to it, although we're probably going to move it to a cheaper platform. But I'm not going to be promoting it. Like I said, maybe we'll come back to it, but 2019, it's just going to sit to the side. And I'm a little sad just sharing that, right? This is the thing about letting go. It's so hard. The other thing that I am letting go of for 2019 is the Life and Law in Balance retreats. And I have to be honest, if I am telling you what is my favorite thing to do, it's the retreats. But there's a lot of work around filling those retreats, and there's a lot of work around putting them on. And well, there's a lot of other moving factors with that as well. And, I put out there, and granted, I wasn't launching it, I wasn't marketing it, but I did put out to the email list that if there were enough people interested, we'd go ahead and sign the contract with Miraval. I mean, we were literally about to sign the contract when I had to have the biopsy and got the results back. And we said, okay, wait, we need to stop. We only had a few people pay the deposit, not enough. And so I knew I didn't have the bandwidth to fully launch and promote it to get enough people on board. So gave refunds on the deposits and said, okay, we won't do any retreats in 2019, which was really sad for me because I'd already put them off in 2018 so that I could do the planner and the live event, because I knew in 2018 there was only so much bandwidth. So those are going away, at least in 2019. I love them so much. I know they're coming back. Who knows what they'll look like eventually, but that too, it's not, there's nothing going to be going on with it. It's going to come off the website. You won't see it. I hope to bring them back because I love them so much and they are so transformational, but won't be happening. All right. The deep dive day, that too is going away. So that's also the strategy pillar. That's where I work with people for a full day, and it also takes up a lot of time, and it's just it's not scalable. It requires a lot of my one-on-one time for money. So we will not be doing any more of those. That's coming off the website. And although we're not 100% sure, I think I will not be doing speaking and workshops in 2019 unless it fully supports the pillars that we are working on. So that's a lot going away. Granted, it shows how much I was actually doing and why I'm so dang overwhelmed and stressed out. I mean, I'm a workhorse. I can get stuff done. So, but this is going to be good. So all of that is moving to the side. Goals. Let's talk about goals. The planner is here to stay. I love the planner. Been getting great feedback on the planner. We are going to sell out before the end of the year. And so really just deciding, because it'll start in the spring. But what we're going to do in 2019 is we're just, again, going to focus on the planner itself. We had other plans on that system and something we were bringing to you that I was so super excited about that we're not going to bring to you in 2019. Well, we might, but it'll be like in the fall to prep for 2020. So that's why it's the 1.5. So we're just going to do the planner itself and not the actual other thing that we were going to introduce around it. Because, my goal with the planner is to eventually expand that line and to provide you other physical products that support the whole planning system, as well as, like I said, something really cool and fun that will almost be like the Get It Done Challenge all year long to help you guys. But we're not doing it. We're not doing it in 2019. So with all of that, you should know by now where we are focusing. We are focusing on the strategy piece. That will be the big one. It is my highest and best use. If you look at my strengths finders, if you look at what people love about me the most, rave about me the most, it is strategy. It is that high level advice. And part of my mission is helping underrepresented attorneys rise to the top of the legal industry. And the thing is, anyone and everyone can benefit from this stuff, but I'm trying to get those tools in their hands. So I do want to get the planner in people's hands because just the system itself is going to help them get focused. But what I really want to get in their hands is that high level strategic advice that is going to really, really help them succeed. So what we are doing is focusing on masterminds. I have my annual mastermind, and that group is already set. Didn't market that, didn't open it up to applications because there were enough people that I was already working with that wanted in that. So it's set. But what we are going to start opening up, and where I'm really, really excited, is we're going to do a few different kinds of masterminds. So you probably already know that I was doing diversity masterminds for law firms, and then I had been piloting this summer and fall 4-month masterminds. So we're going to do a little bit of shifting based on, what we think is working and where we think we can improve things. And the first mastermind that we're going to be rolling out is a 6-month mastermind. And the 6-month mastermind is open to anyone. And all you have to do is apply. It's mostly geared towards solo and small firm attorneys, but if you like what it has to offer, you are more than welcome to come join us. So we are going to have a kickoff in January, followed by group calls. And if you have no idea what a mastermind is, go back and listen to episode 37 called The Magic of Masterminds. I have been participating in them for years, and they are high-level masterminds. And when I say high-level, what that means is it costs a lot of money. But the people that are in my groups are seriously kicking butt and taking names, right? Like, they are super ambitious. They are really pushing me. It's a major commitment to participate in that. So that's what high level means. Like, you're not playing around. It's really top notch performers and coaches involved in those groups. And because of that, it costs a lot of money. And it's why I've been leading them. So I had never even heard of a mastermind until I left the law firm world and started my own business, and quickly learned that this is very common for business people to basically get in these groups that almost serve as like boards of advisors to really help you, have this confidential place to get feedback, to share ideas, and really to just keep each other pumped up. I'm sure you've heard, the saying that, you are a reflection of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So when you surround yourself with like ambitious go-getters that like leave all the excuses at the door. It's going to push you to be a better person. When you surround yourself with people who don't share the same ambition, they complain all the time, everybody's just down and out, well, that's what you're going to get in your life. So that's what the mastermind concept is all about. It's huge in the business world. And I wanted to bring that to the legal world because I thought, there's so many people who need this. And from a diverse perspective, from an underrepresented attorney perspective, we know that one of the reasons why so many women and minorities and other underrepresented groups leave law firms or the legal practice altogether is because they don't feel included. They don't feel like they have people that they can go to get great feedback, and they don't feel like they have access to the resources, to the information that is needed to really excel in their business, in their own practice. And so I wanted to change that. I wanted to say, okay, you may not have that in your firm. Maybe you're a solo. Maybe you're in big law. Maybe you're in a corporation and you feel very alone. I want to get you in a room where you don't feel alone. I want to get you in the room where you get access to the information that you need. I want to get you in the room where you learn about things that you didn't even know to ask about, right? Like you don't know what you don't know. I want to get you in a room where you're getting all that info, the same info that your white male colleagues are getting. Let's get it to you. And I want to get you like the best training so that you can go grow that book of business, so that you can navigate the politics of your organization, so that you can, know when to, drop non-billables or how to approach something within your firm or your company. Like, I just want you to have that like really high level support. And if you're a solo, because I truly believe that the more money you make, the more successful you are, the more power you have in the industry and the community as a whole. So that is my goal. I'm trying to shift that. So even if you're a solo or small firm, like, again, I want you to have the tools that allows you to be really, really successful and amazing, where you're not worried about paying the bills. Like, you are growing your firm as large as you want it to be, where you really have the life that you want as a lawyer. So that's the concept of the mastermind, is to get you what you wouldn't otherwise get on your own and to provide you that community. It is so, so invaluable. I was chatting on the phone with one of my mastermind sisters just yesterday. We talked for over an hour. She's a doctor and she helps other doctors. And it was just having that access, and she's in Texas. So having access to people who aren't just, your friends or your colleagues that can really push you because they're kind of doing what you're doing, it's invaluable. So anyway, I get pumped up about it. That's what we're doing. That's where we're starting. So we're going to do a 6-month mastermind for, again, mostly solos and small firms that will start in January. And then we are also doing a 9-month mastermind that will kick off. It's either going to be the very end of February or the very beginning of March, like literally within a few days, but technically 2 different months. And that is going to be for female partners. There could be some exceptions for counsel or senior associates, but it is designed for female partners. You know from listening to my podcast that what got you, here won't get you there. The rules have changed and you are likely to drop out of your law firm. That's just what the statistics tell us. So I'm here to change that. And so what we're doing is we're even pulling back a little bit from the diversity masterminds for law firms. And so what we're doing instead is we are allowing all the big law firms, whether it is a law firm, right? So whether you are on the admin side, maybe professional development, diversity, business development, you can share this with women. Maybe you're a woman yourself. You don't need to get your firm to sponsor you. You can apply. And so that we've got so much in store for both of those groups that is going to be epic. It is going to be awesome. We are going to get you with the group that you need to be running with to really help you excel. And that is going to open up both of those. Both of those open up. The applications open up today, or it might be tomorrow. Oh my goodness. I don't even know. Go ahead and go to the website today and check it out. It's legalmasterminds.com. The applications are only going to be open for a month, and we're going to do it on a rolling basis. So we're going to start the interviews pretty soon because it's highly curated. We want to make sure that we have the right people in the room together so that you guys can really bond. You've got diversity in that room, both in terms of practice areas, in terms of where you live in the country, all of that. So applications will be open for a month. We're going to go ahead and start interviews though. And if we fill up all the spots, we might close the applications early. So if you know you want in or want to get considered, go ahead and apply. And then if you don't fit in one of those categories, know that this is our sole focus for 2019. It is Masterminds. That is our sole focus. So some of you, when I was putting together the 4-month mastermind back in May, if you were on the email list, you filled out the interest form. We have that. We're still collecting. We've got you kind of you're on our radar. But there's now also an interest form for anyone else to come and fill out. And basically, it's just a way for you to say, hey, that sounds like exactly what I need. I need to be surrounded by some amazing people who are going to push me and really help me with my strategy and my trajectory. And we already have people that have submitted forms, right? So we've got high-level in-house counsel. We've got, second-year associates saying, I just need others to support me, right? So wherever you are, if this sounds like something you need and want, even though we don't have a mastermind launching for you right now, the more people who are like you that submits that interest form, it tells us you guys are then ready. So like I said, we're curating this. So don't just ignore it and wait for the next announcement because it may never come if enough of you don't raise your hand. We'll just keep doing the things that, we normally do, which is that partner level stuff, whether it's big law or solo small firm. So raise your hand. So if you go to legalmasterminds.com, you're going to see the application for the 6-month mastermind for solo small firm. You're going to see the application for the 9-month big law female partner. And you're going to see an interest form where you just give us information about who you are and what role you're in and what you're looking for so that we can continue to curate these masterminds all year long. So that's it. That's what we're focusing on. I'm a little nervous. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be honest. I'm a little nervous about just focusing on one thing, but it's going to allow me to have more ease in my life, to focus on the flow more. It's going to also allow me to make these masterminds even better than they are now. And they're already amazing. The fact that my annual mastermind, the fact that most everyone renewed, and I've got a few that have been in it 3 years now, they keep wanting to come back because they're getting results and they love that community and that group. The fact that the people in my 4-month masterminds were like, you have to let me in your annual. And they're already saying, I need my information on the 6th month. We know that people get results. We know that they love them. And so we can't wait to get that out to even more people. Yeah. So we're going to make them even better. This is our focus for 2019. It's all about the mastermind. And I get that may be a new concept for you, but they are transformative and can totally take your career to another level and provide you that community and support that you may be missing in your own firm or organization. So go check it out, legalmasterminds.com. And thanks for letting me share with you where we are headed, where we are going in 2019. You'll be hearing a lot more about all of this. All right, that's it for this week. And I'll look forward to talking to you next week. I am super excited to announce that the Life and Law Planner is officially here. It is more than just a calendar. It is a full planning system. If you want to take back your days, your weeks, your months, and your year, order your planner now. It will completely change your life and help you accomplish your biggest goals. There's only a limited quantity available, so go to lifeandlawplanner.com and order yours today.